Hola a todos, bienvenidos to your best source for moving to Mexico, Mexico Relocation Guide. I am Mariana, and this time I will show you one of Mexico's culturally richest and best preserved pueblos mágicos. This little old town is well known for its charm, easygoing vibe, great weather, the proud diversity of its traditions, and its growing artistic community. Come with me and let me show you how life is beautiful on the lakeshore town of Pátzcuaro. Now, right in the heart of Michoacan, in western Mexico, is the town of Pátzcuaro. It's actually the biggest and main town of all that you can find on the shore of the Lake Pátzcuaro. This town stands at an average altitude of about 7,000 feet above sea level, or about 2,100 meters above sea level. So the combination of being a lakeshore town in the Mexican highlands makes the weather one of the most enjoyable in all of the country. You can expect the weather to be anywhere between 80 degrees during the daytime in the summer and the year-round average to be in the 70s. It does have a rainy season, which starts anywhere between May all the way through October. Now, the origins of Pátzcuaro go way back to pre-Hispanic era. It's actually believed that around the year 1324, a Chichimeca warlord named Cureteme founded the ceremonial city of Pátzcuaro. The word Pátzcuaro actually translates to the gate to heaven, since they believed that the lake worked as a gateway between their world and the world of their gods. And then with the arrival of the Spaniards, the ceremonial city saw lots of changes. A ruthless conquistador named Nuño Beltrán de Guzmán was in charge of conquering this region around the year 1526. His awful crimes against the indigenous people were heard back in Spain, and they sent priest Vasco de Quiroga, who will become the savior and a saint for the natives since he was named the first bishop of Michoacan, and took control of the development of the region. From 1539 to 1580, the city of Pátzcuaro was the capital of the province of Michoacán. It was relocated to Valladolid, which is now the city of Morelia, after Don Vasco's death. Nowadays, Pátzcuaro has found its way into modern society while keeping its indigenous and colonial heritage. In this little town, you will find everything to see your needs and wishes. The people from Pátzcuaro, or known as Patzcuarenses, are very open to newcomers, and life here is really easygoing. In recent years, some foreign retirees have discovered this precious stone in the heart of Michoacán. It's not a really big expat community, or big town for that matter, so don't expect a great number of foreign residents. Most residents are natives, and you'll find that national foreigners here since the town was inducted into the Pueblos Mágicos, or Magic Towns of Mexico program in 2002, which attracted a lot of national and international investors to the town. The great presence and influence of the indigenous communities in the area, especially when it comes to handcrafted art, have also attracted many artists, either from within the country or also foreigners, that come looking to be more in touch with these ancestral cultures and traditions, which creates a diverse and eclectic artistic community that combines the best of both worlds, the old world charm and the artistic and modern vibe. Now, when it comes to language, it's fair to imagine that most residents speak Spanish. You can find some bilingual speakers here, but most foreigners have adapted and learned the local language, Español. It would be enough if you get here with the basics, and you keep practicing every day. You'll see that in no time you'll be speaking like a true local. The community of Pátzcuaro is a solid and diverse one, and even if you don't find a lot of foreigners or extranjeros here, the people will receive you with their arms open and will make you feel at home right away. So what is it like to actually live here? Well, like I mentioned, Pátzcuaro is not a big city. It's preserved its uniqueness mainly because it has avoided industrialization, so it keeps a lot of its colonial look and charm. In this town, there are several neighborhoods or colonias, but they all share similarities when it comes to amenities and prices. So to make things easier, we'll give you an average price for renting a house here, as well as an overview of the amenities that you can find in town. Let's say that there's downtown, which is a historic part of town, and the surrounding colonias, which are newer and some of them are still developing. In any case, it doesn't matter which colonia you choose to live in, since like I said, Pátzcuaro is really kind of a small town, so it's really easy to get around. Even if you're in one of the surrounding areas, it probably will take you about 20 to 30 minutes walking to get to Centro. There are also combis or vans, which is a form of public transportation that can take you anywhere in no more than 10 minutes. Or you can also take a taxi that normally charges around 40 to 50 pesos, which is around 2 to 3 US dollars. Now added to that, every colonia has grocery shops, butcher shops, fruit and vegetable shops, cheese shops, cream shops, and every store that can help you get through your daily routine without having to travel long distances. Now the price range is very wide. You can find small studios or apartments for a single person or a young couple starting from 5,000 to 6,000 pesos a month, which is around $300 a month, to fully furnished townhomes in the outskirts that range between 15,000 to 30,000 pesos a month. That's around 750 to 1,500 US dollars a month. You can also find huge hacienda-style homes in the historic part, which have 5 or more bedrooms, come fully furnished, and those are very well renting for over 50,000 pesos a month, which is about 2,500 US dollars. So the ranges are very big. It all depends on your budget, what you're looking for, and then obviously whether you want something furnished or not. Now what about the cost of basic services such as water, electricity, gas, and internet? Well, Pátzcuaro is not very different from any other standard city in Mexico. As in any other municipality, there's a commission of water, which sends a bill every other month. And the bill here for water shouldn't go more than 500 pesos, making it an average of 250 pesos a month, or about 13 US dollars a month. You can expect good service and no shortages since access to water here is pretty much guaranteed. Now, electricity is provided by the CFE, which is the Federal Commission of Electricity. It's also paid every 2 months, and you will get a bill for around 600 to 800 pesos a month, which is about 30 to 40 US dollars, or about a 2-person household. For gas, you can call one of the main 2 companies in the area, which is Gas del Lago or Gas Nieto. The process is very similar as in most of Mexico. If you've been following any of my videos, then you remember that you need to switch your gas tank or cilindro once you're about to run out of gas. The cost per tank is a little bit over 700 pesos. So this should last you for about 2 months, again assuming a household of about 2 people. And despite being a semi-remote lakeshore town, access to really good internet is pretty easy. You can find Telmex and Mega Cable as the main providers in the area, as well as smaller providers. The cost is the same as in most of Mexico. You can expect to pay as little as 500 pesos for a basic package and up to 1,800 pesos a month for fiber optic. Now, if we do some quick math, we could say that in Patzcuaro, you could live more than comfortably in a nice home with lots of space for about 1,200 US dollars a month with utilities included. Obviously, this doesn't include other expenses like healthcare, owning a car, and other utilities that you may want to hire. But there's more to it. We still want to show you how to get your food, your household goods, where to have fun, and all the tips we can give you so you can start your new life in Pátzcuaro with confidence. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so to my channel. I would also love to know where you're watching us from, so comment down below and let me know where you're watching us from. By now, it's pretty much been established that Pátzcuaro isn't a huge city. But don't get discouraged, you're still going to find everything you need to cover your basic needs. Let's start by walking the mercados or local markets. The norm and also your best option here is to buy in these local mercados. You will find not only food, but also household goods, personal care items, clothing, and handcrafted house and kitchenware. You can rely on these markets to find pretty much everything you need. Now, the most visited one will be the one right next to the main squares, and this one is Plaza Gertrudis Bocanegra, or Plaza Chica, as the locals call it. The market is not really big, but that doesn't mean it lacks products. Here you can find fruits, vegetables, dairy products, clothes, shoes, and also food stands serving local dishes. You also have several tianguis, which are also markets with the only difference being that they are not permanent. Instead, they only work on scheduled days. For instance, in the atrium or front yard of the Basilica de Nuestra Señora de la Salud, or just the Basilica short, there's a tianguis every Sunday morning. It also offers street food, fruits, vegetables, and some vendors even take their freshly caught fish and other things to sell. Now, this is not the only tianguis in town. There's also an organic market working Sundays in the courtyard of the cultural center called Antiguo Colegio Jesuita. Here you can find a diversity of items, all made from organic products and handmade processes. There are personal care products, plants, dairy, and even clothes. In all of these mercados, you will be dealing with local producers. So that means that you will be saving money by cutting the middleman, as well as supporting the local economy, which is vital for this town since its agricultural production, as well as its handcrafted items, are two pillars of its economy. However, I do understand that sometimes some needs or wishes can't be met in these mercados, since all products are locally made and in some cases, you're looking for something more specific. For those cases, there are two big Mexican markets, or supermarkets in town. One of them is a Soriana, which is a big national chain, and the other is a Bodega Aurrera. These are a kind of big box supermarket, enough to provide this town with some national and a few international products. Some of the foreigners living here usually take a trip to Morelia when they need something more specific that you won't simply find anywhere in Pátzcuaro. The trip to Morelia is around 40 minutes to an hour. Now when it comes to treats and leisure, if you're into handcrafted trinkets and ornaments, then you will go crazy in this town. Because Pátzcuaro is famous for being one of the most diverse places when it comes to crafting traditions. As a matter of fact, the whole region surrounding the lake is well known for its, in Spanish they call it, Región Lacustre de Michoacán, which englobes all the towns from Lake Patzcuaro to Lake Tirahuen, and each of these towns has a different craft and tradition that date back to pre-Hispanic ancestors. In Pátzcuaro, considered to be the soul of the region, you can find all of these different crafts in one place since a lot of the artisans come here from all the other surrounding towns to the lake to trade their crafts. A particular point where all these cultural things are met is Casa de los 11 Patios, or the house with the 11 courtyards. Be warned, you can get lost here for hours and hours. This is an old colonial building that used to be a convent and hosts a great number of stores owned by regional artisans, offering all kinds of things from handcrafted textiles to clothes to copper crafted items, things from Santa Clara del Cobre, pottery, glass, wood masks. I mean, I could go on forever and ever. The best thing about all of this is you will be buying directly from the producers, either from the artisan in person or from a relative, meaning that the prices will be not only affordable, but the quality of the product will be top-notch. Now you understand why I keep saying that this is one of the most culturally richest towns in Mexico. Now, Pátzcuaro is a town of about 50,000 people. So how do you get around? Well, most people walk. Yes, the town is growing, but at the end of the day, you won't find yourself in need of going long distances to cover all your needs. Wherever you live, you will always find everything within a few blocks. In any case, if you do decide to live in a more secluded area of town or a further part of town, or you need to go a longer distance than usual, you can use public transportation. Again, there are combis or these vans that connect all neighborhoods with several routes across town. There are even vans that will take you to other surrounding towns like Tirahuen, Tzintzuntzan, and the like for somewhere around to 20 to 10 pesos. In case you need to take a long distance trip, you can go to the bus station and get on a bus to go to Morelia, Mexico City, Guadalajara, as well as some other towns within the state. Now, Pátzcuaro doesn't actually have an airport in town, which you could say is part of its charm since it keeps the town a bit more secluded and preserves the old world charm. However, if you do have to go back home or are planning a temporal seasonal residence, there's an international airport in Morelia that offers flights to the US, Canada, and Europe. If you do want to own a car, buying a car in Mexico is pretty straightforward. You can either buy a used car, although you do have to make sure that you follow specific processes to ensure that the car has been paid, that all the taxes have been paid up to date, that the owner is actually who the owner says he is, and a lot of other information to make sure that you're actually buying this the right way. Or you can buy new from a dealership, just like anywhere else in the world. Now, don't let the whole vibe of little town lifestyle trick you. Medical services in Pátzcuaro are well covered. Now, if you've watched any other of my videos, you should know by now that in most Mexican cities you can find several branches of the very famous farmacias similares, where there is a consultorio or a small private practice with a doctor on site that charges $2.50 for a quick checkup. That's 50 pesos. Pátzcuaro also has many of these farmacias similares. Now, besides those farmacias, there are a great number of private practitioners with consultorios scattered all around town, as well as several clinic buildings or medical centers offering all kinds of specialties in the same place. For emergencies, surgery, special treatments, you have the General Hospital or Hospital General Dr. Gabriel Garcia, which offers consultations, specialties, and 24-hour surgeries at very affordable prices. There's also the private hospital, Hospital Bora, or Hospital Bora, offering a great number of specialties as well as hospitalization rooms with very nice amenities and really good service. And in case you need something more specific that these hospitals don't meet, or you have higher standards, once again, you can turn to the capital city of Morelia, which is about an hour away. Now, I would say that Pátzcuaro is more of a daytime town. This town is filled with a variety of attractions. Just walking around is a pleasant experience. There's a lot to see, from historical buildings, museums, the many squares, some beautiful mansions in Centro, and the place is pristine and beautiful. Now, exploring the lake would obviously be the main attraction. From Pátzcuaro Centro, you're only about 2 miles away from the shore. You can either get there on a boat and explore from within, or you can surround it and explore by road. Either way, it's something that you have to do. The whole area is gorgeous and so rich, it's truly a treasure of time. You can visit the small islands in the lake. The famous one, and now internationally known, is Janitzio. Its fame has been growing because of its magnificent way to observe and preserve the ancestral holiday of Dia de Muertos. As a matter of fact, the whole lake region is well known for this, since the Purépecha culture is deeply linked to this cultural heritage. Here, you won't see the newly established traditions of parades, which were not really a thing until recent years. Instead, you will see an authentic Dia de Muertos, or Day of the Dead. They decorate the whole town with candles, the traditional flower of cempasúchil, which usually lead to the graveyards, where they make altars and shrines in honors of their loved ones that have passed away. In these, they usually put their favorite dishes, pictures, things that they used to own, and even bottles of liquor that they like to drink. The belief is that during these days, the souls of the relatives come back from the underworld, or Mictlan, as it was called by the several pre-Hispanic cultures. So the shrine with food and personal favorites is for the soul of your relative. They can eat and enjoy their return to our world. The family gathers around their gravestone or the altar they built during the holidays, and they tell stories, play games, and reunite and enjoy honoring the spirit of those who have passed on to another life. It's a way of preserving that person's memory forever. The perception of death in these ancient cultures is not a negative one, so they don't really grieve, but rather see it as another step into their own soul's path. We do need to mention that because of this newly gained fame, some of the towns, specifically Janitzio, as well as some of the other towns surrounding the lake, have seen themselves forced to close the entry to town or the graveyard since there has been a rising flow of tourists during the Day of the Dead. And unfortunately, not all of them are as respectful as the natives would like them to be. Have that in mind that this is a sacred holiday for these indigenous cultures, and it's their ancestral heritage. So if you're curious about it, there's nothing wrong with visiting and quietly observing. However, be respectful and don't see it as a tourist attraction. There are very specific graveyards and tours that you can hire where they will take you on a very specific tour to graveyards, and that's perfectly fine. But just keep that in mind when you're going and you're just going to an open graveyard, to be respectful and to be quiet. Outside Dia de Muertos, which is observed from October 28th to November 2nd, there's a lot more to do and explore. We have mentioned in previous videos that Michoacán is a state with so much to offer, from natural reserves where you can hike or camp, to music and arts festivals in Morelia all year round. In Pátzcuaro, there's a handcrafted art festival and competition held every year. You can get on a bus or rent a car and drive to the beach in Lázaro Cárdenas or Maruata. I mean, it's a big and diverse place. I'm sure you'll find it as beautiful as we do. There's so much to do. But what if you're more of a night owl? Well, there's plenty to do at night here. The vibe of the town is really relaxed, so don't expect wild parties or anything like that. There are some nightclubs where you can go and dance until late at night. However, Nightlife here aims for a more casual, friends night out experience, or maybe something more romantic. In any case, you will find a lot going on in the main square. There will be a lot of street food stands and performers who can give you a very nice evening concert while you enjoy some of the local snacks and candy. After enjoying a picturesque night walking around the main plaza or along the streets and alleys of this town, you can get a table at one of the many bars or restaurants, and you can find some very nice things to eat and things to drink. You can find cantinas, which can give you a more Mexican experience, as well as several mezcalerias, since Michoacan has a solid production of artisanal mezcal. And you can also find a lot of nice restaurants offering either local gourmet food or some others offering international cuisine and wine. Now you can see this is an excellent option if you're seriously considering moving to Mexico to either come as a young family, as a digital nomad, or to spend your retirement. The lifestyle in Pátzcuaro is pretty relaxed, the weather is nice year-round, the people are warm and welcoming, the food in Michoacan is out of this world, and the cultural traditions in this region are amazing and beautiful to observe. If you're looking for a calm-paced town with beautiful landscapes, maybe you want to feed your creativity, or if you've ever dreamed of living in a secluded old town in the mountains, then search no more because Patzcuaro is waiting for you. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed discovering this precious town with me. And that's it, folks. Remember to subscribe to this channel and check out the other videos that I've made so you're always well informed and up to date with all you need to know for starting a new life in Mexico. My name is Mariana, and I will see you very soon on our next Mexico Relocation Guide video. Hasta luego!